After an amazing WrestleMania and AEW's Dynasty happening a couple of weeks later, April of 2024 is a very valuable month for pro wrestling. Dynasty was an awesome pay-per-view, with the best parts of the night being agreed by almost everyone, and the worst moments of the night are agreed by almost everyone. But it's still time to rank through all 9 matches on the main card. As usual, I'm not counting the pre-show, but I do have to give a quick congrats to the Bang Bang Gang. I'm Duke from Duke It Out, here to give you every match at AEW Dynasty 2024 from its worst to its best. Before I begin, please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more great wrestling content. Number 9. Hook vs. Chris Jericho. If there was anything negative talked about from Dynasty last night, it was Jericho getting the FTW title. I'm not on the bandwagon of hating Jericho, but I can see why fans would be irritated by him still winning titles. And since Hook had already beaten Jericho, it doesn't make a ton of sense, unless Hook wins it on Dynamite this or next week. The match isn't awful, but no one was begging for this either. Number 8. Julia Hart vs. Willow Nightingale. The match was fun, and the result was exactly what it needed to be, but it was a bummer with the clearly short length. There have been rumors that Julia Hart is hurt, so it's probably from that, but Willow finally getting a title win in AEW was a great moment. And her versus Mercedes at Double or Nothing could be the women's match of the year. Number 7. House of Black vs. Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, and Mark Briscoe. I had a feeling this would be a fun match, but this was way more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. Eddie Kingston got some great moments, especially with Brody King. Mark Briscoe got some super crazy spots, and Copeland brought some great energy, and they played it well to not have him and Malachi have many moments in the ring together. Then the third half contained some great spots like the triple spear, and Malachi getting the pin to set up a title match with Copeland. A fun match with more to look forward to. Number 6. Roderick Strong vs. Kyle O'Reilly. Like the last match, this had some great spots and left you excited for even more after it was over. Especially in the middle half, both O'Reilly and Strong got some very quick and brutal spots against each other. I think Roddy retaining seeming most likely might have slightly harmed the intensity to the ending, but what happened post-match definitely left intrigue. Adam Cole seems to be almost fully recovered, and they immediately tease tension between him and Wardlow, and Kyle O'Reilly can continue being a part of that story too. Number 5. Timeless Toni Storm vs. Thunder Rosa. The character work throughout Toni's reign has been amazing, but this is one of the better overall matches in her reign so far. Thunder Rosa used the story to bring in a new look and brought some very fun spots. And Toni really brought in the character work and mixed it very well with what she was doing in the ring. The Purrazzo interference did feel a bit off, but it made sense to have Toni retain after that. Number 4. Samoa Joe vs. Swerve Strickland. A lot of insanity happened before this main event, so I was afraid the win might be sucked out of the crowd or the viewers at home. But this ended up being a great main event. Joe got some awesome dominance in the beginning to really make things kick into gear a lot more smoothly. And Swerve got some awesome comebacks and made the audience nervous he'd lose a couple of times. And the Black Panther themed gear during his entrance was fucking awesome. And the ending was exactly what it should have been. We had been anticipating this for months, and while Joe had a really good reign, I'm very excited to see whose era? Swerve's era. Number 3. The Young Bucks vs. FTR. This ladder match had a lot to prove here, in both the feud and the fact that this had to follow a very certain match of the night. But they used the stipulation to their full advantage. The Young Bucks using their heel characters to be extra brutal, and still bring out the insane spots we'd expect from them in a match like this. And FTR were fantastic. Cash went a lot more out of his comfort zone and got some awesome moments. And Dax, just like at Revolution, had us very terrified for him while he's bleeding like crazy. And with the heavy backfire on them showing the brawl-in footage, it was at least used to get the very loudly cheered return for Jack Perry. He had the perfect shit-eating grin on his face, and I'm excited to see what he'll be doing with the Elite. Number 2. Kazuchika Okada vs. Pac. The past few openings on AEW pay-per-views have been pretty good, but this was probably the best opening pay-per-view match in AEW since Kingston vs. Jericho. Pac sold his ass off for this match, which then made it pump even more adrenaline to the crowd when he was starting to get the advantage. And Okada has continued to, of course, do great work in the ring, but the charisma he is bringing out as a heel has been amazing. Him teasing the zoom out shot by flipping off the crowd legitimately caught me off guard, and it was hilarious. And they took a slower pace in the first half, and having it really pull off with every move from each other seeming more devastating by the end. I'm hoping for a rematch sooner than later. And number 1, Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. Yeah, 2 of the literal best wrestlers in the world. Of course this was going to be amazing. But somehow they were able to blow my mind even more than anticipated. And I'm still just flabbergasted by how brilliant this ended up being. By the time this video is out, many will already say this is either the greatest match of all time, or even the best match to take place in America. And while I can't confirm those kind of statements, it's match of the year so far for sure, and I really don't think anything else this year is going to beat it. Danielson giving so much brutality, and it just kept getting worse throughout. And Osprey took his adrenaline and kept having everyone on the edge of their seat in a 30+ minute match. And the chemistry with Bryan's terrific striking and technical abilities, with Osprey's quick and innovative moveset, collided in the exact ways why this was called a dream match. Bryan catching the Os Cutter with the running knee made me jump out of my seat at home. And even with the injury scare, it still just added an extra reason to be speechless after what we just witnessed. So that was my ranking for AEW Dynasty. Please let me know your rankings for the pay-per-view in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and duke out your opinions below in the comments.